get up and dash 100 meters and I would eat up the competition. It's just non-existent. I kick my feet up. Thought I was passing till I got blasted.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. Today we're going to be talking about AEW Rampage from March the 25th, 2022. News and notes first before we get into the show. AEW did not announce the female signing on this show. Instead, they announced that whoever the female signing will be in the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament, to which they will be wrestling the Bunny. So we can guess two things from this. One, they'll be wrestling the Bunny, which means they'll probably win. Two, it is more than likely going to be somebody who is coming in as a babyface. Now, a lot of people think that it's going to be more than one person because they believe that Athena is going to come in to wrestle Jade Cargill, which I truly also believe. So this person, so first, I don't care who it is, for the record. AEW is just going to keep throwing money at this problem. And they keep thinking that throwing money at this problem is going to fix it, but it's not. Money ain't fixing this problem. Now, let's get into Dynamite. So let's get into it. Lance Archer bored us to death wrestling Dustin Rhodes. I don't care. He keep beating up Dustin Rhodes students. This stuff is just not over. I mean, let's understand this. Just because it worked in Japan, because the Japanese responded to him kicking young boys and knocking them over. In America, we don't care. Like, we don't have that kind of studiousness where we care about the students of these wrestlers. We don't give a shit. So, like, you body slamming the students of a Rhodes, Rhodes Scholars, Rhodes Academy, whatever. I don't care about that kid. I don't even know who he is. I can't feel bad for him because I don't know who he is. At least in Japan, when you kick some poor young boy in the head because he's carrying a towel or whatever, there's actual story behind that. For instance, we know that the young boys in Japan, they do little things for the older guys. They get them some water. They pat them down. They ice them down after their matches. They carry them to the back. They help them. They do all kinds of stuff. They're little helpers. They're like little butlers. So when you going around bullying them, and then they wrestle occasionally. We know they're training to be wrestlers. So when you're bullying them, we feel bad for them because we know that they can't really do anything to you because they're so restricted, and we know that they're, it's all based on hierarchy and them trying to show respect to the elders, and the elders are bullying them, beating them up, smacking them around and stuff like that. That's where the heat comes from. The heat comes from he's handcuffed by tradition to respect his elders. He's also a young guy who didn't ask for this. You being a bully, you being a dickhead. That's where the heat comes from. In the United States, I don't know this guy. We don't have the same hierarchical structure in our society where, the older guys and the younger guys, there's that deference in between them. Our society teaches young boys that your values and what you believe is just as important as the older people. Therefore, if somebody older disrespects you, you smack the shit out of them because you can. So in this situation, who cares if he's a student? He should have beat your ass if he could. So you don't get the same kind of heat there because the culture is different. And this is just, again, AEW not being able to adapt things from one situation to another. You're going to bring the guy in from New Japan. You need to be able to adapt what he's doing. Same thing with the Hardys. Same thing with the other people that they bringing in. They're just bringing people in and letting them do everything that they would. Play the greatest hits. Come in and play your greatest hits. And then I get tired of hearing the song. So Lance Archer loses to Dustin Rhodes. Absolutely boring match. Who cares? Who cares? I'm not even going to go into the whole thing where people got put through tables. Who cares? Jay Lethal, he says it's back to the drawing board for him. He can't see beyond his blemishes even though he has a winning record. And he said the only thing about his two blemishes is that both guys had to cheat. And he should be comfortable in knowing that these guys had to cheat to beat him. But they get more money than him. They make better opportunities to him. So there's got to be a better way. And he's going to try to find that better way. I'm guessing he's going to. It seems like they're trying to turn him heel already. First, you should establish him before you try to turn him heel. Jay Lethal hasn't done enough for us to feel bad for him yet. I don't know, man. And then all of his wins are on Dark. Who cares, man? Come on. Integrate this fucking guy into the show. Fuego del Sol come out there and he cut a promo, and I laughed through this entire thing. His feeble attempts at showing babyface fire. I had to fight for everything. They poked fun at me because I wore pink. You know, and these people chanted for my name. These people believed in me. And then House of Black came out there because he called out the House of Black. House of Black comes out there. Guess what the crowd does? Crowd chants for House of Black. You just had a babyface come out here, talk about how the fans believed in him and they were chanting for him. Now they chanted for three guys to kick his fucking head in. And then they proceed to kick his fucking head in. Rightfully so. He's a fucking moron. Why is Fuego del Sol on my television? I don't care if it's 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night on Friday. Fuego del Sol should never be on my television. I don't want him gracing my TV. All right? I don't care. You know, it was like a human blow pop. Get him fuck off TV. All right? House of Black whooped his ass. Crowds chanting for them, going crazy for them. And then here comes the Dark Order. And it is the moment that I feared. I feared that they would do this. That they would have the Dark Order fight the House of Black. I figured they would do this. They would see similar gimmicks and say, yes, this will be a good match, right? And then all of the marks would be like, absolutely, this will be a great match. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson and Alex Angels. I'm about to call him Alex Angels. Is that his fucking name or not? Alan Angels. I don't care about these guys. Come on, man. It's been 3 years. The only way they can get over is if somebody dies. That's not over. You're not over because somebody died. These guys, they're the shits. They're absolutely wasting. I remember Malachi Black came into a lot of fanfare. People thought he was going to be a top guy, main event guy, maybe. He's been nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Ever since that first loss to Cody, it's been going down, down, down. He might not be losing that often, but him beating people that nobody cares about ain't that much better. I mean, come on, man. Give the guy a fucking break. Give him a fucking break. Why isn't he wrestling Hangman? Hangman could definitely use a feud with Malachi Black. I mean, knowing the way the AEW books things, it probably wouldn't be very good. But, I mean, the idea of it is a great idea. You know? It makes no sense. Why isn't Hangman feuding with Miro? Where did Miro go? I don't know. Whatever. I'm asking too many questions, man. I'm holding AEW to too high a standard. Their standards are more like Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky cuts a promo, him and Adam, I'm going to call him Adam Lambert. I don't got the Adam on the brain now. Dan Lambert. The only thing that this had to do is they had to say no more open challenge for the TNT title. You had to earn your title shot the hard way. And, okay. So now the open challenge loophole is closed. So how are they going to find contenders for the TNT title? They've already blown the golden donut. They've gotten rid of that. And now they've gotten rid of the open challenge aspect of it. So how are you going to decide via the rankings? But wouldn't the rankings be for the world title? Should the TBS and TNT title have their own rankings? That's how they did it in Ring of Honor. As they had rankings for the TV title, it was different from the pure title. It was a completely different division because they had different rules. So maybe that's what it should be. Maybe the TNT title should have its own division. You know? I don't know. And why isn't Ricky Starks on number one contender on any of these divisions? I don't know. We'll talk about that when we get there. The Dark Order lost to Red Dragon. Who cares? There was a spot in this match, I think, where one of these Dark Order guys was basically just watching his partner get choked out. And he was watching him because he had to break it up a certain way. And the way he had to break it up was Bobby Fish had to run towards him so he could do a spine buster on top of Kyle O'Reilly, who's got his partner in a chokehold. And so they let them lay in that chokehold while Bobby Fish ran up, toddled over to him, and he picked him up and dropped him on there. I was like, man, this is not good. Anyway, after the match, after Red Dragon wins, because of course they won, they started to kick and punch the Dark Order after the match. The Jurassic Express ran down there to make the save. Adam Cole then stole their tag team belts. So Adam Cole's gimmick is he's now a repo man. He stole the AEW world title. Now he's stealing the tag team belts. Adam Cole, baby. There we go. Maddie Ranowski was beaten by Nyla Rose. Ooh, boy. I don't ever want to get those two mixed up. I made a fatal mistake. I need 10 lashes after that one. They showed a vignette before this of Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa. And I forgot to mention this before, but it seems like people are really kind of sensitive to this whole Nyla Rose, Vicky Guerrero, and what they said to Thunder Rosa. Apparently, some people took it as Vicky was making an illegal immigrant comment about Thunder Rosa. Now, if you listen to my review of Dynamite, I said that it was you're not a real Texan. Now, some people seem to believe that it's an illegal immigration wall joke, build a wall joke, because Vicky Guerrero supposedly is a Trump supporter and supported the building of the wall. Now, it's because, I don't want to get too political, even though I already did earlier, they don't understand that building the wall is a humanitarian effort as well. It's to stop human trafficking. But this idea is that people should just have porous borders where people just come and go or whatever. And because apparently she was married to Eddie Guerrero, who was American, by the way. He wasn't. He was Mexican-American. His parents were born in Mexico. He was born in the United States. So the idea that, oh, but look at who you were married to. She wasn't married to some fucking illegal immigrant. Eddie Guerrero was born in Texas. All right. That being said, just because she was married to a Hispanic wrestler and she speaks a little bit of Spanish doesn't mean that she should be supporting illegal immigration. But before we even get to that point, I didn't see it as an illegal immigrant story. I didn't see that at all. That wasn't my reading of the promo that Vicky Guerrero that she cut rather. It seems that there's a lot of politically motivated people who wanted to try to make that a story about illegal immigration, when basically she's talking about Thunder Rosa is originally from Mexico. She's not from Texas. She just lives in Texas. And I think was the story that Vicky Guerrero was trying to get around to. But they seem to have dropped that completely here anyway, and they just started talking about Nyla Rose. So, to me, it felt like people were just really politically motivated and tried to turn this whole thing into an illegal immigrant story. But we'll see if it continues going forward. But it doesn't seem to be the same concept to me. And it seems pretty silly that people would even do that. But I'm not surprised that, politically motivated people are trying to screw around with Vicky Guerrero and her career. Anyway, Hook was getting a certificate of accomplishment from QT Marshall. It was a waste of like 4 minutes. Hook came down to the ring looking like he stinks and he just woke up. He then shoved Aaron Solo's head through the certificate, and he got cursed by Danhausen and no-sold the curse. And I was just kind of like, Hook is, these people are still facetiously into Hook, where, they're Hook, but there's no plan for Hook. He's still trapped in this dirty triumvirate of QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, and that other guy. I forgot what the guy's name is. But he's not going anywhere fast. And you would think that if they were really trying to push this dude, that he would actually be featured on Dynamite. Look, they don't have the talent roster. Well, they do have the talent roster, actually, to make Rampage interesting. They choose not to. Like, they put all of the stars on Dynamite. They put nothing on Rampage. They just put random dudes on Rampage. And if you don't watch Rampage, you're not watching Hook. You don't see him. So it seems silly to me. And I don't think they think he's some kind of big star because he moved a couple of t-shirts, but that was months ago. I wonder if that's still the same. People think that if you sold a bunch of t-shirts one time, that means you sell a bunch of t-shirts all the time. That's not the case at all. Main event, Ricky Starks versus Swerve Strickland. Good match. Ricky Starks says he doesn't have a problem with all the new guys. He just has a problem with the sense of entitlement. And he says that Swerve Strickland got evicted from his last house. And Swerve Strickland said his last house taught him to not ask for things, but to come in and take it. And he's going to do just that. And yeah, he's entitled as hell. This is, again, of course, what I said before. It is the humiliation ritual when you come into AEW and they immediately talk about how you got fired from WWE. That's the first thing they do, is talk about how you were fired from WWE. It is the humiliation ritual that they all go through. Every time you leave, you got to talk about how you got fired, because that's the first thing they want to bring up. It's like, fuck, can we just pretend that the guy never got fired from WWE? You could actually pretend he never even worked there. The guy was on SmackDown for 3 weeks. He never even wrestled a match on SmackDown, I don't believe. Did he even, I don't think he ever got beat on SmackDown. He's already lost more matches in AEW than he did on SmackDown. I don't think he got beat on SmackDown. I think they worked like 2 matches and won both of them. Probably squash matches too. So why are we even talking about that? It's irrelevant. Anyway, Swerve Strickland and Ricky Starks have a pretty good match. It was fun. They didn't do a lot of bullshit. It was, they did a nice little apron spot, the shooting star press off the apron. It was running. Swerve has some decent to good charisma. Ricky Starks is a charisma machine. So this was a solid match. It was very good. After the match, Ricky Starks has I guess what does Taz call it? An entourage, or he's that hairdresser, his nutritionist or some shit. And they got some kind of a sign that said about how Ricky Starks loves Austin or something, because I guess that's where he's from. His second home or some shit. Anyway, Keith Lee threw a guy through the sign. Then all 4 of them started to brawl as, Swerve eventually woke up from his Rochambeau. And they started to fight as Keith Lee fought Hobbs and Swerve fought Starks, and they were battling around the ring. And I was just kind of like, man, this is a waste of Swerve and Keith Lee. It's a waste of Swerve and Keith Lee, man. And Hobbs and Ricky Starks. For fuck's sake. All of these guys are far more talented than most of the guys that are featured on Dynamite every week. And they get no time and no ability to do anything. And it's almost as if Keith Lee is just another guy on the roster already. And so is Swerve. And it does. I saw some people trying to make an excuse for Swerve losing. Look, here's the thing. This is his second or third match in AEW. Whenever somebody loses their second or third match, they tend to not do very well afterwards. Look at Jay Lethal. Look at Tony Nese. You lose your second or third match, and then you immediately go to Dark or Dark Elevation, and you do your thing. You apply your trade there. And I want more for Swerve than that. Him being a Dark and Dark Elevation guy. That's embarrassing. That fucking sucks, But that's what AEW is doing mostly. They're mostly signing guys, feeding them to one of their top dudes or a dude that they want to be their top dude or something like that. And then they fall, they flutter away, they float in the wind, they do nothing. I guess it depends on who you're friends with. It depends on who you do your jobs to. So if you do your job to the TNT champion, you might have a chance. You do a job for the world champion, you might have a chance. You do a job for the FTW champion. I ain't seen nobody come back from that. Look, it's not even a shit on Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is great. But that FTW belt is fucking worthless. And everybody knows it. It doesn't mean anything. And they put no emphasis on it. It's not even the focus of any show. And I've heard that Tony Khan wanted to make the FTW belt with the belt for Rampage. It's like, no, shouldn't the TNT title be the belt for Rampage? It's the TNT title and Rampage is on TNT. Fuck. Are you serious? But never mind. So that's the show. Swerve Strickland and Ricky Starks had a pretty good match. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed Swerve. But all these guys are pigeonholed right here on Rampage to do tag matches and nothing segments that nobody's going to care about or watch. It's unfortunate, but that's AEW in a nutshell. They have decided that certain people are Rampage only wrestlers, and since Rampage is taped and nothing that happens on it really is anything anybody cares about, it's just, we're stuck there. Poor Swerve. He lost his second match in the company. He ain't even been there that long, and they beat him already. Keith Lee ain't been there that long either. He's already forgotten, and Tony Khan's already planning how he's going to ruin Ring of Honor. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.
Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They distort, so question as if